Blissful morning, dear children. Welcome back to our social class. So, children, do you remember what was our last topic in civics? Very good. It was about our constitution. And we all learned about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, right? Yes, he was appointed as the chairman of the drafting committee and he presented a draft constitution. And after many changes, what happened? The constitution was signed by the members of the Constituent Assembly on 24 January 1950. And in all, 284 members signed the 200 copies of the document. And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the first one to put his signature. So the Constitution of India came into effect on 26 January 1950. So over the years, the Constitution has been a modernizing force that has helped to transform our great India. So what do we celebrate on 26 January? Yes, our Republic Day. Okay, so before entering the next lesson, we have to know about the fundamental rights and duties. So first about fundamental rights. So the citizen of India enjoys certain rights and have some duties towards the country. So these rights are called fundamental rights and the duties are called fundamental duties. So our constitution guarantees us 6 fundamental rights, okay, and they are listed in part 3 of our constitution. So what are they? Right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. So while these 6 fundamental rights have been guaranteed by our constitution, they are not unconditional. So in times of emergency such as war or internal disturbances, the president can take away all these rights temporarily to maintain national security. Okay, so these are known as our fundamental rights. We can discuss it briefly in our class. So our constitution lists 11 fundamental duties for the citizen to fulfill. What are they? Respecting public property, protecting a country, following the noble ideals of secularism, non-violence and democracy, and towards our country, developing a scientific attitude, preserving or saving our cultural heritage, making a better society, promoting harmony and brotherhood, preserving and improving our natural environment, respecting our national symbols, and providing opportunities for education to children between the age of 6 and 14 years. And the last one is respecting public property. Okay, so all the way around. So we have 11 fundamental duties for a citizen to fulfill or follow. So now our lesson is directive principles of state policy. So to begin with, we have to do the get set exercise given in our textbook, page number 123. So some rulers worked hard for the welfare of their people. They built roads, rest houses, hospitals and gardens. And these rulers also introduced administrative reforms for efficient governance. So now here, read the clues to write the names of 2 such rulers. First one, this ruler promoted non-violence and he said all men are my children. Who's that? Yes, he is Emperor Ashoka. Second one, this small emperor believed in peace with all and he made the administration strong and efficient. Yes, he is Emperor Akbar. Okay. So first of all, what is a welfare state? So while framing the constitution, our leaders dreamt of a welfare state. A welfare state is the one which the state guarantees social and economic development of its people. It means sharing its wealth. Okay. So all people must have all the resources. So what are the features of a welfare state? So a welfare state is responsible for the well-being of every citizen and it aims to provide social and economic justice to all its citizens and it guarantees equal opportunities to all citizens. And a welfare state also guarantees a fair distribution of wealth. Okay, and it also has to maintain diplomatic relations with other countries, judicial administration, to spread education, social economic security as I told you already, and to eradicate poverty and to improve the moral and the social reforms in the country. So these are the features of a welfare state. So, the directive principles of state policy are given in part 4 of our constitution and they are adopted from the constitution of Ireland. Okay, and these are guidelines or instructions that government are expected to follow. So, these principles aim to establish a welfare state. Therefore, governments must keep these principles in mind while framing laws and policies. And the directive principles may be classified under the three heads, namely the socialist or the principles promoting economic equality. Second one is about the Gandhian principle, and the third one is the general or the liberal principles. Okay, so under each principle, the article's number is given. Okay, you can just note down. So under socialist principle, you have article 38, 39, 39A, 41, 42, 43, 43A and 47. And under Gandhian principles, you have articles 40, 43, 43B, 46, 47 and 48. And under liberal or general principles, we have article 44, 45, 48, 48A, 49, 50 and 51. So the first one is principles promoting economic equality. So the directive principles direct the government to ensure that all citizens have the right to an adequate means of livelihood and fair distribution of wealth and resources among the people. And this means that the wealth and the resources of the country are to be used for the benefit of all the citizens in the country. Okay, and just in human condition of workers and equal pay for equal work for both men and women were ensured, and the assistance for the unemployed, the old and the sick and those with special needs were taken care, and all citizens enjoy the right to work, and that all workers get a living wage which should enable them to meet their basic needs of food, clothing and shelter, and the participation of workers in the management of industries, and the children and the youth are protected against exploitation. So these are all the principles promoting what ma? Yes, economic equality. So next one we have the Gandhian principles. So Mahatma Gandhi believed that the development of the individuals was tied to the development of the society, and he laid stress on rebuilding villages, promoting cottage industries and ending all forms of inequality among the people. So some of these ideas have been included in the directive principles of state policy. What are they? Yes, provide early childhood care and education to all children below the age of 6 years and organize village panchayats, promote cottage industries, promote educational and economic interests of the weaker sections of the society, improve public health and modernize agriculture and animal husbandry. So these were all the ideas which have been included in the directive principles of the state policy, and they are called as what? Gandhian principles. So next one we have the general or the liberal principles. So directive principles of the state policy contain certain principles on justice, law, administration, foreign policy, environment and the monuments of national importance. So what were the principles here? Yes, provide equal opportunity for justice and free legal aid and separate the judiciary from the executive. So this was most important, okay. And according to the 42nd Amendment Act, the government should protect and improve the environment and safeguard the forest and the wildlife, okay, and preserve and protect the places and things of national importance. Okay, children, so these were the most important points. And we have to promote international peace and security and protect and improve, as I said, the environment and safeguard forest and wildlife and protect monuments, places and objects of, yes, national importance. So, children, the fundamental rights and directive principles both aim to protect the rights of the citizens and to establish the social and the economic equality of the people. So, there are also some differences. What are they? Yes, first, fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. So, under fundamental rights, we have it is contained in part 3 of our constitution, and it aims at protecting the basic rights of the citizens and binding on the government to ensure these rights to every citizen. And the last one, a citizen can move to court if her or his fundamental rights are violated, and fundamental rights are therefore justifiable. Okay, it can be justiciable. That means you can go and fight for your rights. Next is Directive Principles of State Policy. So it is contained in Part 4 of our Constitution. It aims at establishing a welfare state and guidelines for the government to follow, and a citizen cannot move to court if the directive principles are not followed by the government and the directive principles are non-justiciable. Okay. So children, exercises and question answers, we can just work it out in our class. Okay children, thank you and have a great day.